Minnesota Vikings general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah enters the second draft at the helm of the Vikings with not a ton of draft picks, right? So the Vikings are projected to have 5 once that extra 5th-round compensatory pick comes in. But due to various trades, Hawkinson moving up last year for Caleb Evans in the 4th round, the Vikings don't have a lot of draft picks. Projected to have 5, don't have a second-round pick. So the fact that the Vikings could and should be in the market for rebuilding this team, especially the defensive roster, they could be looking to acquire more picks. Now, yes, they could obviously trade some of their players, although some of the players I don't think have a ton of trade value given their age and contract. But Kwesi obviously could be looking for ways to add some more draft picks in trading down. Now, a lot of fans, they ain't about that trading down life. The whole, hey, go quality over quantity, blah, blah, blah. That argument, I understand it, as well as, yeah, it's tough when you're at the draft party or whatever, and the Vikings are on the clock, and, oh, here we go, who's going to be the next player in purple, and then they trade down. I mean, Spielman did that all the time. All the friggin' time, man. And Kwesi last year made a number of trade downs, made a number of moves, and the 2 notable trade downs were obviously in division, going from 12 to 32 with the Detroit Lions, as well as going from 34, the pick that they got from the Lions, and getting 2 second-round picks from the Packers. Now, going back to the trade charts, I mean, the modern-day trade chart, the Spiel fits. Vikings dominated the Lions trade. They beat the crap out of the Packers in that trade as well, even though on the surface, the Lions got Jameson Williams. The Packers got Christian Watson. So fully understand that, even though by the letter of the law when it comes to the modern draft charts, again, the Spiel fits modern, Jimmy Johnson, a little bit outdated, but people still go by it. It's whatever. And it really does go to show the team that's looking to move is the one that always pays a little bit more in that tax. Like, not everything is always equilibrium. So the Lions got taxed moving up to 12. The Packers got taxed moving up to 34. The Vikings got taxed moving up to 42 with the Colts. And people will criticize the Kwesi draft because a lot of the guys either got hurt or weren't contributors year 1. I'm very bullish on them year 2 and beyond. But again, by the chart, Fitzgerald Spielberger chart, the modern chart, Kwesi did add quite a bit of value throughout his trades in 2022. So now looking to 2023, why does it make sense to trade down? Again, it's what Kwesi does, crunching the numbers, moving on down, finding value. I respect that. Also, like we said, the Vikings are short on draft capital. 5 picks currently, back end of the first round, no second round pick, where this is yet another meaty top of day 2 draft, and the Vikings obviously would like to have as many bites of the apple as possible. It does make sense there. Also, like I said, flat talent pool. So there's a bunch of players from, I don't know, about 20 to 50, 20 to 60 that could go in any order. Basically, it's the team's preference on who goes where. There's a lot of guys who could be back end of the first round picks. There's a lot of guys who could fall into the top end of the first round. And a team motivated to move up, especially if there is a run on positions where the Vikings don't necessarily have that need. So if one of the key offensive tackles falls and a team is interested, or if one of the key edge rushers or tight ends fall, even though it's a very rich tight end draft, if the right guy is there, a team could be motivated to move. And of course, like I said, the Vikings drafting at 23, it would be nice to stay in the first round, or at least stay at the top of the second round. And of course, looking at the trade chart, and then just going through a couple scenarios. Again, these are not binding. There's no way to know until we get to draft night if there is going to be a player that falls that teams are motivated to move up to go get. But we're just literally going by equilibrium on the chart. And again, the team that's wanting to move, whether move down or move up, is always going to pay a little bit extra in that tax. But the Viking, this is just an exercise to see the value of the 23 overall pick. So the Seahawks, if the Vikings Seahawks want to do a deal, Seattle has extra first and second round picks because of the Russell Wilson trade. But second round pick 37, third rounder 83, and fourth rounder 121, moving on up for the Vikings to move down 14 spots from 23 to 37. And would that entice Kwesi? I mean, you're still in the thick of that top of day 2 talent pool. Yes, you pick up an extra third, fourth rounder. Certainly would have some appeal. And then with the Panthers, who also have extra picks. So their second rounder 39, so you're moving down 16 spots, but also picking up their third, 93, and 2 fourth rounders comes up relatively close on the valuation trade chart scale. And then the Saints, the Vikings wanted to stay in the first round. So the Vikings, including their first and third round pick, 23 and 87, but moving down 6 spots to 29, improving their stead in the third round by 16 spots with the Saints' third round pick, 71, as well as a fifth round pick, 146, is relatively close again on the trade chart. But again, these are all just estimates. These are all just exploring what the Vikings' options could be. And yeah, I think that Kwesi certainly could and should be motivated to add to this stockpile, but not going insane, not passing up on talent when it's there. But if the Vikings are on the clock and there's a half dozen players that all have similar grades for the Vikings and they're able to move down and still get their guy, it would make some sense there. But your thoughts are thoughts. Taking a look at the Vikings trade down options from 23 in the draft. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.